and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari signs 8 bills earlier passed by the National Assembly into law, including an act seeking to establish a centre to cater for the elderly. Police in Plateau State confirmed killing of at least 3 persons by suspected herdsmen in Jebu-Miango community of Basa local government area. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai solicits increased funding for Nigeria's armed forces to effectively tackle insurgency as he visits his South African counterparts. And a massive fire at a hospital in the southeastern city of Mirang in South Korea kills at least 37 people.
On business news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari announces plans to spend extra income from rising oil prices on infrastructural development in the country.
On sports news, Nigeria's Falconets eager to seal qualification for the Under-20 Women's World Cup in France as they brace up to face South Africa at the Samuel Agbomedia Stadium tomorrow in Benin City.
And from Abuja, court dismisses suit filed by indigenous people of Biafra seeking to compel the Chief of Army Staff to produce its missing leader, Nnamdi Kanu.
We begin tonight with the arrival of President Muhammadu Buhari in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to participate at the 30th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union. Before he left, however, the President signed 8 bills already passed by the National Assembly into law. One of the bills is the National Senior Citizen Centre Act 2018, which seeks to establish a National Senior Citizen Centre in the country to address the needs of the elderly. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Ita Enang, who briefed State House correspondents after the President signed the bills, provides insight.
One of the bills are centered to, or some of them are, the Legislative Houses Powers and Privileges Act, which increases the powers of the legislature, gives the legislators immunity on what they do on the floor and in plenary, and increases their powers to do their legislative work more effectively. It also gives the legislature and the legislators, through their appropriate officers, powers to effect arrest for any person who offends the act and does anything which is capable of impeding the due exercise of the powers of the legislature and the legislators. The other one is the National Assembly Nigeria Institute of Legislative Studies Act. The Nigeria Institute of Legislative Studies before now was only for the purpose of training legislators on legislature and legislative practice and procedure. But the amendment assented to by Mr. President, as passed, has increased the power of the institute to train people and award degrees in democracy, electoral process, and other areas of democratic culture.
Now, some form of security breach rages on in Plateau, where at least 3 persons have been killed and 8 others injured in Jebu-Miango community of Basa local government area following an attack by a suspected herdsman. The police public relations officer in Plateau State, Matthias Tiopeth, who confirmed the attack to Channels Television, says about 20 houses were burnt during the attack. And this brings to 6 the number of people killed in the last 2 days, after 3 persons died in an earlier attack by a suspected herdsman in Bokos local government area.
At about 17:00 hours, the command received a distress call from Jebu-Miango in Basa local government that some armed men were attacking the village, and immediately the divisional police officer mobilized his men to the scene, and also the command mobilized some armed men to go for reinforcement. On arrival, while citing the police, the armed men suspected to be Fulani herdsmen took to their heels and deserted the village. After our assessment, we discovered that 3 people lost their lives in the attack. 2 have been identified as Danlami, Go-Master of Kwal District, and Emmanuel Awudu of Jebu Miango, and the other person is yet to be identified.
Meanwhile, police authorities in Plateau State are making efforts to douse the tension created by a series of reported attacks and alleged silent killings. The Commissioner of Police in the state has been meeting with leaders of all ethnic groups to find a lasting solution to the problem.
The report of attacks and silent killings in 3 local government areas, Bassa, Barkin Ladi and Riam in Plateau State, is fast becoming a source of worry. The Commissioner of Police is meeting with stakeholders in the state capital, Jos, to find ways to end the negative trend.
When these unfortunate incidents happen, let us have the courage and the honesty of purpose. The honesty of purpose, with the mind that we want to achieve peace, ensure peace in our land. Sit together and tell ourselves the truth.
Members of the communities expressed their concerns as they call on the security operatives to do more.
It will actually be provoking and annoying as well that someone means of livelihood, his socio-economic life has been dislocated, and yet such action is being celebrated without caution, without the law taking its course. Is quite pathetic in this 21st century.
We are all aware that there are no Fulanis inside the town now, but how could, wherever it is they are still finding their way right inside the town, very close to homes, and wailing people and killing them. This aggravates the tension in the land and creating, reminding us of the kinds that took the society.
Also present at the meeting is a Deputy National Chairman, Police Community Relations Committee in the North, Sanusi Major Ma, who admonished traditional rulers on their role in peace building.
I challenge you, all the traditional title holders, that a lot is expected from you, and try to manage your community in a more better way, that peace will thrive and this state will be the pride of the North, which we had been earlier on.
The police authorities in the state say they want the people to live together without rancor and watch one another's back when the need arises.
Meanwhile, the security situation in Benue and Plateau states is to be reviewed when the leadership of the National Assembly meets with the Minister of Defense and Service Chiefs. The chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Defense, Aliyu Mukhtar, disclosed this during a meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff to consider the budget of the Defense Headquarters. General Gabriel Olanishakin affirmed the commitment of the Defense Headquarters to its constitutional duties while raising the issue of timely budgetary releases.
Bill was read the first time.
Lawmakers in the National Assembly are still working on the 2018 budget. Here, the House of Representatives Committee on Defense is meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff and officers from the Defense Headquarters over the proposed spendings for 2018.
Since Defense Headquarters play a germane role in the coordination of the armed forces of Nigeria, it is imperative that more budgetary and extra budgetary allocation be approved in respect of the enormous material and capital projects requirements for the sustenance of the troops in various internal and external operations.
The lawmakers raised their observations, and one of their major concerns is the security situation in Benue State.
There are certain inferences that the influx of foreigners in our country is what is called seeing the killing of my people and other people across the country. Are you making any particular provisions in this budget to curb that situation? And why is it that in the southeast the crocodile has danced The python has danced. But in the areas where herdsmen are attacking, not even a lizard has danced.
So on that issue, we had a discussion with the Honorable Speaker, including the Senate President and the Chairman Senate Committee on Defense, where we agreed that we are going to fix a date to invite the Minister of Defense and the service chiefs with our committee and the Senate Committee on Defense so that we can discuss the issues happening within Benue and Plateau states.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Financial Crimes is on an oversight visit to the ongoing construction of the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The chairman of the House Committee and the acting chairman of the EFCC agreed that the National Assembly must help ensure that the project is completed at the earliest possible time.
We have come to assess and appraise the work so far done, vis-a-vis what we gave to them last year, and then to be able to determine whether what they are requesting for us this year should be given to them. But with what we are seeing today, members have the opinion that they have done well and that we should favorably consider their request for funding.
I just want to thank the members of the committee for the support. There is no doubt that the support is now yielding. I'm so happy that they are impressed with the level of work, and I just want to ask for more support.
Committees of the National Assembly continue to meet with ministries, departments and agencies on the 2018 budget in a bid to ensure the document is passed as quickly as possible, as time is of the essence.
President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to participate at the 30th Ordinary Session of the Assemblies of Heads of State and Government of the African Union. Now, part of the president's engagement at the summit is the flag-off of a continental campaign against corruption. Our correspondent Ibrahim Adra witnessed the president's arrival.
President Muhammadu Buhari arrived the Bole International Airport in Addis Ababa at about 10:15 local time and was received by an AU delegation as well as members of his cabinet. President Muhammadu Buhari is to flag up the campaign of anti-corruption fight in the African continent. His media aide speaks on the issue.
It's important for Nigeria, it's important for President Muhammadu Buhari that he's been chosen as the champion for this theme. What that tells you then is that the whole continent is looking at the good work that our president is doing, pushing back corruption, fighting it effectively. And so the rest of the continent is saying, look, let's look at what Nigeria is doing, and we want to share the Nigerian experience. And I tell you that the president has come well prepared. He has the role of flagging off, the continent-wide war against corruption. So he's going to set the tone.
With a number of items lined up to be discussed at this summit, it promises to be one of the busiest in recent times. And like the chairman of the AU, Dr. Nkosazana Lamini Zuma, said, whatever they're going to do, it will be towards preserving the precious unity of the African continent as they work together towards achieving the Vision 2063. From Addis Ababa, capital of Ethiopia, Ibrahim Adra, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, we'll be joined by the Executive Director of Partners for Electoral Reform, Ezenwangwago, to discuss the recommendations by the APC on the clamour for true federalism. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.